Are you a hero child? One of the things that I hear all of the time is people talking about how all children in a certain family were all raised the same, so it must be genetic because they're all different. I want you to know that particularly in a family with high levels of dysfunction, the children are not all raised the same. They're raised completely differently, and actually they take on different roles based on their environment that they're in, and they take on these roles by way of helping the family environment to exist in the dysfunction that it exists in, and so that each person gets to survive in their own way. There are 4 main roles that the children take on. If there was less than 4 children, you may have taken on more than one role, and you may have shifted and moved through them throughout your childhood and into your adulthood. But today I want to talk about the hero child. Now, the hero child is the one that the family looks to say, we must be doing something, right? Okay, it can't be, you know, we're succeeding in spite of everything because look how well this child is doing. They tend to be the oldest child, although that's not always the case. This child, when they go to school, aces everything, yeah? They do amazing in their exams. They're always trying as hard as they can at school. And everybody looks around and says, often to the other siblings, why can't you be more like this one, right? Look how well they're doing. If this child has grown up with an alcoholic parent, for example, they're less likely to turn towards alcohol and drugs, and actually more likely to have their addiction as being some kind of external success. They do amazing at school, they go into their career. They're always finding their place in the world by how well they achieve, because that's where they got their love and recognition as a child. So what does the hero child look like when they're an adult? Well, often the hero child within the family environment is the one that looks after all the other kids who might be wrapped up in the dysfunction in a different way. So they're often very caring, they're often very good at looking out for everybody else, but nearly always abandoning themselves and their own needs, and never really truly having those met. But within their career, they might be successful, they might be driving forward all of the time and progressing, and everybody thinks that they've done amazing, but deep down, they're chasing the same thing that the person who goes on to have a problem with drink and drugs might be chasing. And that's something to make them feel lovable, something to try and have their needs met that ultimately what they're doing never meets. We stigmatize drug and alcohol addiction, but much less do we stigmatize work addiction. Being the hero child often means you're one of the most underreached people in our society, by the way, because on the face of it, you're doing amazing. But internally, your sense of loneliness can be just as deep as the man who has, or the woman who has ended up on the streets through some kind of substance abuse. We have to do more, by the way, for hero children, who are often now disguised as adults, and we have to understand that external success doesn't always meet the need in which the person is chasing it. So what's the point in making this video? Well, it's to reach the hero children that are out there and are now in their adulthood. They feel guilt around what they've experienced and how their success isn't doing what it should do. You'll hear them downplay their experience so often. They'll say things like, I should be happy now, I've got everything that I need. And yet there's this yearning for more, this yearning to feel whole and to feel part of. And that is because they're still playing out the same pattern that they were playing in the family environment in which they existed in.